All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to go ahead and call the January 7th, 2021 Meet and Confer Negotiations meetings for the Cartwright Elementary School District to order. It is 4 o'clock and we will go ahead and get started. Our first item is the norms. I believe that we are all familiar with the norms. If there's anyone that would like me to refresh those or talk about them, I certainly can. But basically, I think we're all on the same page with those. If anyone has a comment, go ahead and turn your video on and I can let you speak. Otherwise, I will move on to the next item on the agenda. All right, so the third item is the approval of minutes from the November 19th and the December 3rd, 2020 Meet and Confer meetings. So I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve those minutes. If I could get a second from a CEA team member.
A second.
All right, is there any discussion? If not, Michelle, you and I can just agree that we'll go ahead and approve those minutes. Unless anyone has a comment or objection to that. All right, looks good. So moving on to the next item, which is new proposals from CEA. So Michelle, Ms. Stevens, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you and your team to talk about the few items that you had added into the folder.
All right, so the first one that we added in was a proposed change to the evaluation of professional staff members. Very short, sweet. It was just one section that we proposed changing from 45 days to 60 instructional days. And mainly that was, sometimes there's breaks in between, and that coming back from a break can be crazy for students and teachers, and it takes a little bit to get back into like the routine of the classroom and the routine of school after a break. And so allowing 60 days will allow more time for teachers to show that improvement without adding in those getting back to normal days after a break and taking away from that what has been 45 days. Any questions or comments?
The only comment I would have is that the 45 days comes from statute. So obviously we're not, I'm not going to make a decision for anyone right now, but I want to be transparent. I would find it highly unlikely that we would change that to 60, just because the statute allows for those 45 instructional days. But again, still will adhere to the norm of coming back to every proposal and talking through it. Does anyone else from either the CEA team or the district board team want to add anything or ask any questions? All right, well, thank you, Michelle, and then we can go on to your next new one.
I muted. Hello. Our second one is the CEA proposed change to reduction in force for certified, and we've suggested updates to 3 existing sections that we believe would best reflect representation of an employee's long-term performance in the event of a reduction in force. I already forgot my part. Gia is going to introduce the next one.
Oh, I'm on mute. I keep doing this every time I like wave and I'm on mute. Okay, so this third one is about the proposal for school counselor evaluations. So our school counselors are an essential part of the Cartwright School District family, and they work to they work as members of our community to They work as members of a highly committed and multidisciplinary team to support the academic, career, and personal social development of our students in the Cartwright School District community. Currently, the school counselors are evaluated using the Cartwright School District Teacher Assessment and Evaluation, and this was developed and revised by the Cartwright School District Evaluation Committee. So the principles of the Cartwright School District Teacher Assessment and Evaluation are based on and aligned with the Arizona Professional Teaching Standards and the Interstate New Teacher Assessment and Support Consortium model. So the teaching standards are in compliance with the Arizona framework for measuring educator effectiveness. So on those teacher evaluations, 67% of the evaluation is based upon teaching performance in principles 1 through 12, and 33% of the evaluation is based upon student achievement data noted in the final section of the evaluation instrument. But school counselors do not teach the core curriculum, and they're also considered non-teaching professionals by the Arizona Department of Education. So to encourage ongoing professional growth and development of all school counselors, the school education evaluation form, the school counselor evaluation form has been designed to reflect all the professional domains outlined by the Danielson Group and the American School Counselor Association National Model. The school counselor evaluation form encourages annual direct communication between supervisors and employees. It respects the professional's right to be evaluated fairly according to their standards. It encourages employee reflection and gives the school counselor an opportunity to showcase their professional work and school counselor program development, which impact the entire school. And lastly, it follows the GCO policy, which stipulates the standard for evaluations.
Okay, thank you for that explanation, and obviously we'll take a look at the whole document and respond to the proposal according to our norms, but I appreciate the details and as well as putting together the entire document. One question I would have, actually, no, I just answered it myself, so never mind. I'm looking at it and you have it on here. So thank you very much for that. Do you have any further new proposals this evening?
That is it for this evening.
Okay. So we'll move on to new proposals from the board team, district team. So the one that we have is the district board proposed change to prep time. And I will go ahead. I'm going to turn it over to Casey Newman, our principal representative, to kind of talk through this as this came from principals. So Casey, go ahead. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Tom. Okay, so teacher prep time, the change to, we're looking at every Friday from next year from 8 to 9:30 is for school-based PD, grade level planning, or both. The rest of the day would resemble this Fridays with regional PDs, quarterly planning, blended days, and teacher work days. The rationale behind this was teacher work days provide a large amount of prep time, so taking 60 to 90 minutes away is not really that much. And then a lot of the amount of overall prep time teachers are receiving is a lot higher than in the past. In the past, teacher work days would consist of a Thursday from 1 to 3:30, and there were 10 of them, which was 20 hours a year. And now it's 10 Fridays, taking out the hour of lunch equates to 70 hours throughout the school year. When we get to blended days, they're not always ours, meaning site-based. A lot of times, several staff members are getting pulled, and this might make up for it and building that community and always being on the same page at each site. Quarterly planning days, this could allow for some front-loading PD before planning takes place. So really guiding the planning, having direction for the next 5 hours of that day for planning. And then regional PDs, schools know exactly what PD their specific sites need, and could focus on this for an hour and a half out of the normal 7 hours that we get PD on those regional days. And I'll take any questions at this time. Or if anyone has anything to add, Tom or Jane.
I don't have anything to add, but I agree. I think that sounds like it makes sense. And I like the idea of the professional development prior to the planning. I think that that's going to be really helpful.
Okay, so I was doing my calculations and it means that there are 15 hours out of the additional 20 that we've received. You would like to redirect that to this type of new,
There's an additional 50 hours, 50.
Yeah.
Yes.
okay,
And I don't think if we do the math, it's not really taking from those 50 hours. It's actually only, if I do the math,
it was 15,
15?
15 hours, yeah.
What was 15?
Whenever I calculated the 90 minutes, you know, from 8 to 9:30, and then for every Friday.
Okay,
that
I
was
thought
it.
you meant the 50. So it's taking 15 out of the 50 hours. Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I was understanding correctly.
Hi, I just have a clarifying question. When it says the grade level planning, is that the same thing as like PLC time that we would normally have like with our teams?
Yes. So,
Okay.
and every site calls it differently. So that 8 to 9:30, it could be 8 to 8:30 is a business meeting. We're just getting things out of the way because during the week, Monday through Thursday, we don't. And again, site-based, and then they could go into planning 8:30 to 9:30. On a Friday, we could say from 8:30 to 9:30, we notice our staff, we want to work on this, and it could be a full hour and a half PD. So that hour and a half is kind of just site-based, what's needed there, business planning, PLC, whatever you would call it.
And is that hour and a half in addition to one, like, I can't remember the exact wording that's in there now, but the one,
The one prep you could take throughout the week, yes, that would be in addition to it. So the one throughout the week would still be available. And then your Friday, let's say now I'm looking at it, it's the 150 minutes of professional time that are on Fridays. All the other Fridays that you don't have work days, that would continue to be there.
okay,
So as Betty kind of did the math, it's pretty much the 15 hours out of the 50.
okay. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you, Casey. I appreciate that. And thank you for the questions also from the CEA team. We'll go ahead and move on to the pending proposals. So the first one is the CEA proposed change to job classification for ESPs. We are still reviewing that. I know it is similar to what was proposed last year with some changes. So we're still reviewing that, and we'll absolutely address that one way or the other with either a counter proposal or an agreement on that at the February 4th meeting. Are there any questions or comments about that particular proposal, the change to job classification for ESP? Okay. So the next one is the CEA proposed change to ESP evaluations. I know that the evaluation document that was presented as part of the proposal is being used as the initial draft for the ESP evaluation task force or committee. So that work is moving forward. So I didn't know if Michelle, if you and your team wanted to add anything to that. But I know that it is moving forward with a committee of individuals that, and you provided some team members as well. And Human Resources has some staff members there. So I don't know if there's anything you wanted to share about that.
I turned on my camera to say there's nothing that I wanted to share. The task force has been formed, and I know that meetings are starting soon, so we're looking
Okay.
forward to that.
Right, perfect. So that'll just continue to be pending, and then we'll address it. We'll bring back the product when it is ready for approval. So thank you. And the last one is the CEA proposed change or addition to staff reduction in force for ESPs. So if we want to take a quick look at that, I know that I had spoken with Bill Bishop about this a little bit in preparation for our meeting, and it does seem to have a lot of kind of teacher-based or certified staff-based levels. So Bill, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you if you wanted to ask your questions and comments that we spoke about before.
Hi, everybody. In looking at this this document, if you go down to the rubric where you have the 60 points possible, it's very well written, well intentioned, but as Mr. Hancock said, very specific to what teachers do. And kind of for instance, is if you have a 20 points possible in education level, certainly education is important, but a lot of the tradesmen that we have and the folks we have working, as an example, in buildings and operations or at the schools, don't have the same incentives for education that maybe some certified staff does. And so perhaps there's an opportunity to substitute some of this for ESPs with things like years of experience, how safely they've operated, things like that. And also, if you keep going down where there's contributions to the educational programs of the district, kind of the same thing. There's really not the same opportunities for ESP staff. It's just different for volunteer opportunities, state and local committees, school leadership positions, et cetera. So perhaps there's a way to maybe tailor that more to the ESP staff, not just in buildings and operations, but around the district that might do different jobs and maybe have different rubrics. So that's all I got. Thank you.
I have a quick question, just to make sure I understand in that area. For that whole section that starts with paid leadership roles, the ones listed there, are there paid leadership roles or assignments that are available to ESP?
There are not.
Okay.
So I think that, and you may have seen on the document, I was just taking notes. That doesn't mean that will remain there in the proposal. Is just so that way we can, have that in the counter proposal for the next meeting. More
Okay.
of course.
I was just trying to figure out if it was all of those that are listed right under where you typed or just some of those.
I'm looking at it, and pretty much, other than having possibly a professional association membership, none of those are, no one will get any points, basically, because they don't exist.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, no problem. So what I'm thinking is with Mr. Bishop's feedback and others and yours as well, obviously, I believe this is a good idea. Just need to make it, fit for what we have available for ESPs and what actually is, going to be equitable. But I think this in conjunction, I know there's one of the new proposals is the same type of thing, but updating the teacher one. So I think we can, work together and collaborate and get both of them where we want them to be able to move forward.
Okay, we will take it back to the team. Thank you.
No problem. And I will have a formal counter proposal or agreement or whatever for all of these, except for probably the 60-day one. But that, that's we won't discount it just yet. And there are no action items other than what we've already talked about. Is there any future agenda items or, other than proposals, counter proposals, new proposals, that anyone would like to have on the next agenda on February 4th? All right. So the next meeting will be held on Thursday, February 4th, 2021 at 4 p.m. via Zoom. And we will finish our discussion on the 3 pending proposals, other than the ESP evaluations, as that's going to be ongoing. And then we will also address any new proposals and continue to discuss those that were brought up today, and work together through those. I do not have anything else. So if everyone is good, I would like to go ahead and make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
A second.
I do have a question.
I unsecond.
Yes, ma'am. No, it's okay. Go
Sorry.
ahead.
I'm trying to
Absolutely.
push buttons. When we're looking at the proposal for the ESPs, you are open to adding longevity as an item. Do you have a way you would like to see that inside the document, or is it, are you going to be writing a counter proposal to show how you would like to see it?
I will be writing something formally so that you can, so to show what we'd like it to look like. Yes, ma'am. And that will be at the next meeting,
Okay.
along with subbing or working for insurance.
Oh, have you updated for the longevity changes for teachers who have been here for a long time? You were looking at adding that, and you were hoping that we would hear from the lawyers in time to have it discussed. Have you heard anything yet?
We did, and we communicated with those teachers that were impacted and promised, and then anyone else will be, we'll be coming back with that to show what we'd like it to look like, so we can follow the law.
Sounds great.
Perfect. All right. Well, any other questions or comments? All right, perfect. Well, thank you all very much, and I look forward to seeing you on February 4th. And any questions in between, we can, always go ahead and email or call. We can talk through some things. So thank you all very much.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you.